With my hair down curly, it changed my whole life. Big brands, like none of them had products for curly hair. I just genuinely did not think that there was a future in my passion. When I decided to actually start working on the business and investing all my money, all right, I gotta make some sacrifices. When you get a PO from a big retailer, it's very costly.
You're fronting.
At least $100,000 to produce that. We actually had a truck full of product and it was stolen.
Your hair products were hijacked? Support for the show comes from Walmart. Right now, Walmart's dropping prices all over with thousands of rollbacks and more on items across their app and in stores. Items like TVs and mattresses. Because the only thing better than laying in bed watching TV is laying in that bed and watching that TV that you know you got at a great price. That's one way to sleep better at night. You can shop these amazing price drops on the Walmart app, online, and in stores right now. What's up, rich friends? Welcome back to another episode of Networth and Chill with me, your host, Vivian 2, aka your rich BFF and your favorite Wall Street girly. Now, let's cut straight to the chase. I have great hair. I mean, it's just true. People ask me all the time if I have extensions, and honestly, no. This is all natural, baby. But I also have naturally straight, wavy hair, so I can go into any store on any block and find something that's going to work for me. But that's not the case for everyone. Up until pretty recently, tried and true curly hair products and regimens were few and far between, usually only reserved for a small section of a random shelf somewhere in the back of the store. But with her brand, Rizos Curls, today's guest is creating amazing products for all types of hair textures and curl patterns. Everyone, please welcome Julissa Prado.
Wow, I love that introduction.
I'm so excited to be with you today. Before we get started, you have stated that when you were younger, you would save up all your money to buy hair products for curly hair. How much do you think you've spent on product before you started your own brand?
So I was definitely in high school back then, and middle school during that time. So probably hundreds. Maybe getting close to 1,000, which for a little kid is
a lot of
money. But I would literally buy things off of like infomercials.
No.
I'm not even kidding. I would like dial the 1-800 number, and I don't know how it would charge us. And my mom would get really upset about it. But I was one of those kids.
What was the most expensive thing you ever bought, and did it actually work?
So probably most expensive were things at salons. Like if I booked a treatment or experience for curly hair at the salon, and no, never. Especially back then, because it was very limited as to what was even offered. Like even the big brands, like none of them had products for curly hair. Like the closest thing sometimes was like an oil, which for my hair, it was just like gonna like drink it up in 2 seconds and just stay frizzy. But no, like I did try a bunch of different things at salons and stores, and it was just like, no. It felt like conditioner.
Can I tell you the most diabolical thing that I bought that didn't work?
What?
It was this little machine that you would put 3 strands of your hair and it would braid your hair really, really fast. But if you had even a slight miscalculation of how much hair you put in this thing, your hair would get stuck in this machine and you'd have to cut it out.
I think I remember that.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly. There are so many infomercially kind of gadgets
didn't work
that I would use as well. It was insane.
And you mentioned your mom getting really mad about you just randomly buying these hair tools.
Off TV.
Off TV randomly. What money lessons did your family teach you, both positive and negative?
So I think the money lesson that they taught me that can be viewed as both positive and negative at the same time is saving.
Ooh, yeah.
But like being very, very risk averse and saving. So I think it's something, I definitely think it's something kind of like instilled in like immigrant children from like your immigrant parents, where they're like saving their money under their mattress and just like be very frugal, like live way below your means, always save for a rainy day. So ever since I was a little girl, I was always taught to save at least half of whatever I make. So whether it was like birthday money that I received or whatever, I was always definitely really encouraged to save, because you never know. So I think that also instilled in me one good thing, which was to save money. But at the same time, I think it also kind of instilled in me this like fear of investing or fear of actually spending it and fear of the unknown when it comes to money, which I think that that is in order to get money back, you sometimes do have to take some risks.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think was one of the most like frugal things your family did growing up? I'll tell you mine, okay?
Oh my God, there's so many. Like
my mom used to, you know how when you go to the grocery store and then there's like a produce section?
Yeah.
And there's like those kind of like translucent green bags that you're supposed to put your produce in?
Yeah.
My mom would get like a bunch of extra and then we would use those bags at home. But I am pretty confident you're only supposed to be
take like one.
Yes, for your carrots.
For one of my favorites though, which it is frugal, but now I'm like, oh, I missed those days, was like anywhere we went, whether it was like Disneyland, the movie theater, we were sneaking in food.
Oh, yeah.
It was like they are not paying for whatever the full price is of wherever establishment that we're going to.
$22 for chicken nuggets? Are you nuts?
Hell no. Exactly. So my mom would pack these like really elaborate like lunches and meals for us. Or even like when we would go to the movie theater and go with like a bunch of our little cousins, it was almost like we had like an assembly line to like make our own burrito. So we would be like passing like building it as you go.
That's
in the
so
middle.
Funny.
Yeah, but now as an adult, sometimes I'm like, you know what, build your own burrito would be real nice right now.
Yeah. Oh man. And you mentioned like learning from your family that like saving is great.
Yeah.
But it led you to being really risk averse. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the decision to start Rizos Curls.
Yeah. So I think that I'm such a Pisces, and I always say that.
Are you?
I'm such a Pisces in every.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm such a Pisces in that. I try to have some balance in my life, but I am such a Pisces in the fact that I lead with my heart. Like I am somebody that if I don't feel it, if my heart is not in it, it's impossible for me to do anything, and I have to be passionate about whatever it is. So, and I'm also because I also believe that, whatever makes you great can also be your weakness, like both ways, whatever. My brother especially, he always says like your strength is your weakness. Like it's the same thing. It's just a matter of how you're using that same quality.
Yeah.
And for me, that quality is this like almost like living in a bubble and creating my own reality and being so laser focused on whatever it is that I'm passionate or into. And the reason why for me creating Rizos Curls was something that was kind of like on autopilot for me was because I was just doing what I genuinely wanted to at the moment. So in high school, for example, like when I explained, I was trying all these different products and nothing really worked for my hair. And so I started making my own concoctions, making my own formulas in my kitchen. And it wasn't even, I never thought of it as a business. Like my brain didn't automatically think there could ever be a business in what I was doing. I was genuinely just trying to just do something for myself. And looking to use natural ingredients was also not something that was like rare or weird in my household, because just like, like so many immigrant kids, like how many kids can talk about having, parents or grandparents from other countries that come with so many remedies and traditions and that are based on natural ingredients. Like there's always so many little trinkets that you're like, you take this tea, or like your hands are dry, go cut this this oil and we're gonna make this hand scrub and whatever it is, which I'm sure you can probably attest to.
1,000%. I'm pretty confident my dad like emailed me one time with like a link of like how I should tape onions to my feet if I was getting sick. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
No, but tell me why my grandma had so I didn't know this until way later, but so in college I had a Japanese roommate for 4 years, and tell me why a lot of her remedies coincided with
yours,
my Mexican grandma remedies. And we were like, wait, maybe they're all like, maybe let's try these onions in our socks thing, because how are like two people from different continents telling us the same thing? So I grew up with a lot of these remedies and traditions, and it's really interesting because I feel like a a lot of people think it's like a new trend of this like organic, natural ingredients, like farm to table. And I'm like, actually, it's something that, you have those TikToks that say, tell me something that, was poor until you see somebody else do.
Yeah. Like my dad was eco-friendly before it was cool because we were just broke. Yeah. Like that's what it was.
Literally. So so I turned to natural ingredients because one, I was used to it. Two, I was broke. And three, I always saw it actually working. Yeah. So I was making my own concoctions. And then I remember just like boiling flax seeds and making little aloe vera scalp masks and, mixing all these things together. And finally, I, found a little mixture of concoctions that worked well on my hair. And I just like went to school with my hair down. And back then I was known as the hair girl. I was always really into hair. I would style people's hair. I would, during homecoming and prom season, I would charge like, I don't know how, like $6.
$6, yeah.
Like come with me. And my brother, Tony, who's also my co-founder, he was a senior when I was a freshman. So a lot of his friends were my clients. So I was always known as a hair girl. And I just remember the first time that I went to school with my hair down curly, it changed my whole life. Like that was a turning point of my existence because
Did you used to wear it up or
So
tight,
I used to always wear it straight or in a slick back pony or like a slick look. And back then also it was the early 2000s. Like, you know what I mean? Like the flat irons had just come out. It was like all the rage back then. So that Aaliyah like super straight hairstyle was really cool. And I went to predominantly Black and brown high schools, and those are the neighborhoods that I lived in. And even though the majority of us had naturally like wavy, curly, or coily hair, we were all straightening it. Like no one was wearing it natural. So I just remember that very first day that I wore my hair curly to school, and it took a lot of courage because there was a lot of days where I thought I was gonna do it, and then I ended up putting it back. I was like, I'm shy, I'm embarrassed. Yeah. But the very first day that I did it, I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I have to walk in like I know I look good. Like I know,
own this place.
Like I own this. So I did it, and lo and behold, yes, it changed my life. It was a turning point of my entire existence. Like from that day forward, I began attracting undercover curlies, people that have naturally curly or wavy hair, but you would never know because they always straighten it. I just became like the curl whisperer of my school and any space that I went into. And it's really crazy because I was, doing little curl classes in the bathrooms, helping people with their hair. So many friends that I met, whether it was like by going out or at the grocery store or wherever, it was people that I was helping with their hair. But I never thought that could be a business. I never thought that that's something that I could spend my time on. Like I went on to work. I went to UCLA. I went to Wake Forest for business school. While in business school, I was interning for PepsiCo, and then I worked for Nestle. So I was like on this very corporate route.
Yeah.
And
I know your mom was loving that.
Yeah, of course. They're like benefits. You get a 401k, a pension. Like, oh my God. So I was on this very, very corporate route, and I just genuinely did not think that there was any like a future in my passion. I didn't even hit my light bulb of my brain,
Yeah.
And I just remember also going to these like, different talks where, especially in grad school, it's very common for CEOs of, big, huge Fortune 500 brands to come and speak to you. And I remember them talking about finding your passion. And I'm not even kidding. In my notebook, I was like, what could my passion be? And I was like brainstorming options. And the whole time it's like hitting me in my face.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
what was the turning point that you're like, this can be a business?
I think it was me getting very frustrated with the fact that my little concoctions would spoil. They would go bad. I would put them in little Ziplocs. They were just very inconvenient with my lifestyle. I would have to put them in the fridge. Like it was hard to replicate. So it was just very inconvenient. And I went to my brother, Tony, who growing up my whole life, I always considered him as like the smartest kid ever. Like I just was always like, nobody's smarter than my big brother, Tony. Like Tony, I would learn about Albert Einstein or whatever really intelligent human in history. And I'll be like, there's no way they're smarter than my know-it-all Scorpio brother.
That's so funny.
So he's always been very like, oh, like, I don't know. Like he just like always had the answer to everything.
Yeah.
So I always viewed him as being so incredibly smart. And so I took the idea to him. I was like, I'm thinking about making these more professionally, my formulas. And I was kind of telling him the idea. And Tony's somebody who like, I was like, if Tony likes it, he never likes anything. Like
he's a hater.
Well, not even that he's a hater. He just like, it's very hard to
impress him.
Exactly. So I just remember sharing that with him. And then he's very like, when you meet him, he's just very like professional, and he's always had this demeanor, and he's just like, I'll get back to you in 3 to 5 business days after I like pitched him my whole little idea. And then he did his own market research, and he was just looking at it from a very like non-emotional, passion.
Because you were the creator, but he had to look at it from the numbers.
From the numbers, exactly. So he looked at what type of market share there could be, what type of demographic, how much the industry even is worth. And after doing his research, he was like, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There are, especially back then when we first started, this was over 12 years ago when we were starting to make the formulas. He was like, there's literally no brands that are like, serving this segment, serving this type of hair texture that you are serving, that you want to serve. And he came back to me and said, like, this is an amazing idea. I actually think that you need to do this as soon as possible and as like well as possible, and I want to help you. So that was that. That's all he had to say. I was like, say less, Tony.
So you decide you want to do as well as possible as soon as possible. Talk to me about the money. It's not free to start a business. It's
sure
not free
is not.
to make products. Like, how much did you start with?
So at that point, both Tony and I have a corporate background. So I am, really, really blessed that I was a super extra student when I was younger. Like I was that kid that applied to like every scholarship. I was like really on top of it. So I had a full ride undergrad and grad school.
Wow.
So I didn't have any loans to repay. I had nothing. So when I started working out of grad school, or in grad school actually is when I started working, anything that I made was just
for you
in my pocket.
Yeah.
And so I was brought up with, you save all your money, live below your means, So, and back then when I was working for Nestle, they also paid for most of my expenses. They paid for my car, they paid for my insurance, car insurance, I had a really great situation. Like I have no complaints when it came to my corporate like jobs. And so did Tony. Tony also, I think at the time he was either working for Macy's or for Juicy, another big company. And we were both just saving. And I think I had around $40,000 saved at that point. And Tony also had around like the same amount saved. And I just remember thinking like, oh, should I use it as a down payment for maybe getting an apartment?
A home.
And my parents, of course, are like 100%. I was like, or I could use it
to make hair
products. My parents were like, no, it's a terrible idea. Absolutely not. So I used it for making hair products.
Wait, so okay, let's talk about this. You had $40,000.
Yeah.
Tony had $40,000.
Yes.
What was the rationale of like, let's put all of that into this? We didn't want to be like, hey, we'll put 20 in and then keep the 20 for maybe the apartment.
So I also come from a place where I'm very, very, very lucky that at that time my parents, they own a house.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a position where if I need to like just live with my parents, like eat their food, like I'm fine, like I can be like, I'm not going to be put out on the street or anything.
You know what I call
like,
that?
What?
The parachute.
Yes, I have a parachute.
Yeah.
I have a foundation where if all else fails and I lose all of my money, like, okay, I'm just going to live with my parents and like have them help me and support me, I guess.
And get another corporate job.
Exactly. And not only that, but like I was working as a waitress when I was like younger, and like I'm not afraid of these like side gigs and like I'm like, I could be a bartender. I could make my tips. Like, don't trip about me. Like I'll
figure it out.
I'm not afraid of not having money because I've been there before and I'm like, I don't need a lot to be fine. Like I don't need a lot of money. Like I know how to make money.
Yeah. So you sink all this money in.
Yes.
And don't even call it Julissa's Curls.
No. So Rizos means curls in Spanish.
So it's curls.
So it's essentially curls. It's a little like Spanish lesson per se in the name. And there was a line from the movie Selena Quintanilla. I have to specify that because now everyone is like,
Gomez.
Selena Gomez. Like, no, she was actually named after the OG Selena. There is a line where she's like, she's so many lines actually. The whole movie is about how she's like part of two different cultures and her music and her tastes, they're kind of a blend of two different worlds per se. And I was like, oh my God, so is Rizos Curls. Rizos Curls is like, Rizos is the Spanish side and Curls is the English side. So yeah.
It's so funny because I always wondered that. I was like, her last name's not Rizzo. I wonder why. And it's like, I didn't realize it was a Spanish word.
Yeah. And it also just sounds kind of cool. Like, I feel like a lot of people think it's an actual name or something else.
Like you named it after your grandmother.
Exactly.
But it's like technically, maybe like the grandmother of Spanish language.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just curls.
I love that. So you become an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Talk to me about the change of that stability. You are working a good corporate job, not even a regular corporate job, a good corporate job. You're making good money. You can count on that paycheck every 2 weeks and probably a Christmas bonus.
Yeah, no, I was making great money.
Now, all of a sudden, you've spent all your money and that first month, you don't even know if you're going to have anything coming in the door. Support for the show comes from Walmart. You already know Walmart has low prices, but what if they were to go even lower? It's time to talk about their rollbacks. Right now, Walmart's got thousands of rollbacks and more on items that have been sitting on wish lists for months. You know the ones I'm talking about. Those items you keep bookmarked and every few days you check back in just waiting for the price to drop. Things like that robo-vacuum. You've probably thought about it, you debated it, but now it's at a price where you can feel great making your robo-vac dreams come true. Say goodbye to the dust bunnies while you sit back and think about how much you saved. From tech to home to anything at all, you name it, Walmart's got it for way, way less. You can start saving and shop these amazing rollbacks and more right now on the Walmart app, online, and in stores. And seriously, those little robot vacuums need a loving home. Hi friends, quick pause in our show to take a question from my besties in Phone a Friend, presented by Walmart. Sean asks, what are the easiest ways to save on everyday shopping essentials? Groceries, household items, etc. This is such a great question, especially when so many people are feeling the impact of the cost of living increase. Here are a few ways you can save on your daily and weekly shopping. 1. Generic brands are your best friend. That name brand cereal, same factory, different box, marked up 40%. Store brands are literally the same quality for way less money. It's a no-brainer. 2. Curbside pickup is your impulse spending shield. Stores like Walmart allow you to order online for pickup. You stick to your list and avoid those, ooh, I need this too, moments that add up fast. Plus, you can easily compare unit prices online to make sure you're getting the best deal per ounce or pound. 3. Use a cashback credit card. Cashback credit cards that give you extra points on groceries are a great way to make sure you're getting free money just for buying stuff you were going to buy anyway. 4. Buy in bulk for things that don't expire. Toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies, stock up whenever they're on sale. But don't bulk buy fresh stuff unless you're actually going to eat it before it goes bad. You'll just end up wasting money. Saving $20 a week on groceries is over $1,000 a year. That's a vacation. That's an emergency fund. That's options. And having options? Now that's rich. Back to our show.
Yeah, no, I had zero marketing. So by the time we actually launched, I had zero marketing dollars. I had moved back in. So before I launched, I was like, I was living in Mid-City in an apartment with one of my friends. And before I launched, when I decided to actually start, working on the business and investing all my money, I was like, all right, I got to make some sacrifices. So I moved back in with my parents. I pretty much was like, I am going to save every penny that I can.
Yeah.
So for a rainy day, literally, again, like what my parents taught me. And so at that point, I was like living with my parents. We had all of the product, like it was like pallets worth of it, because there's very high minimums when you're first ordering. Like any lab is going to, ask at least like 1,000 units of any SKU that you order. So these huge pallets are just like in my parents' backyard. And they're like, what are you going to do with all this? Like, what are we? My mom thought I was going to be like an Avon lady. She was like making speeches she's like, I'm going to make a speech at the church to try to sell these? Put them in my trunk. And I'm like, girl, chill. I was like, chill. So at that point, I had already started, making our social media pages. And on the social media pages, I was mostly just doing general curly hair content. It was in no way viral yet, but it was just people in the community kind of already had built some trust around me being
the curl girl.
The curl girl, exactly. So when that very first day, mind you, everything was very DIY. Mm-hmm. So when I say we had $0 marketing dollars, like, I mean, we DIY, we spent every penny that we had. The models on my website were my cousins and I. Tony took most of the photos. The website was like on Shopify. Like, I made it with Tony's help too. I mean, the drawings on the original bottles, my cousin Vanessa, she drew that by hand. I mean, like, everything was the most DIY that you could possibly think of. And so the very first day where I, turned on the website, it was insane because it was something that I just did not expect, right? So what I did not expect was that the very first day I just posted that the website was live. We got hundreds of orders that very first week. And those hundreds of orders were people whom I had helped with their hair over the last decade. And
the girl from the high school bathroom.
Like, in the order, you're able to write a note that says, you're just able to add a note. And when I first got those orders, I was like crying, receiving the little Shopify receipts, because people were writing things like, I don't know if you remember me, but we met at the UC student conference in the elevator and you helped me with my hair and I've been wearing my hair curly ever since. Or like, I met you at the club bathroom and you told me what to do with my hair and I've been wearing my hair curly ever since. So it was all of these people whom I had interacted with within the last 15 years of my life. And they became my very first customers because I had already kind of proven myself to them in my knowledge and understanding of curly hair. And those people became bigger than just a customer. They were like our brand ambassadors. They were our spokespeople because they started sharing. Once they actually tried the products, they were just hooked. And even today, when we get so much data about our customers and how people use the products and shop them, our retention is so high. It's way above average. So which tells us that once people actually try any of the products, they keep coming back because they
love it.
They love them. So all of those people that were, I had met and they purchased the product that very first week that I launched the website, they were sharing and posting about the products, very Avon lady, very, it wasn't like they had huge followings, but they
word
had
of mouth.
Exactly. It was very word of mouth. They were posting their hair and saying, I met Julissa 10 years ago at the bathroom and she's been helping my hair. She helped me with my hair and I just bought her products and look at my results. It was just you couldn't pay for that kind of marketing and that kind of just raw, authentic, genuine, testimonials. And that's what we had. It was just realness. And I think that was such a lesson for me because I feel like for a lot of people, it's fear and this fear of failure that keeps you from doing things and this fear of not having enough money to compete with the big conglomerates. And I feel like the lesson that I learned through that process was that real recognizes real, okay? If people feel something, if they are, even if it's just 100 people, 20 people that you are able to touch and you're able to really influence their life and convince them to be really diehard fans, that is worth so much more than maybe 1,000 people that like maybe you seeded to and like they were very about your product. Yeah. But those people became like our armies. And so they then convinced other people to be other diehards. And it was almost like it became those 20 became hundreds, 200s became thousands of these diehard, like true believers in our products. And we were doing a lot of events back then. So we launched 8 years ago in 2017. And I was doing curl classes and all of these different community style events. And it was truly amazing. Like every single event that we had, it was like overly sold out, or it was always over capacity, and it's just never stopped. Yeah. And 8 years later, like I feel so blessed that till this day we really resonate with the community. Our values are very strong. And even in retail, I mean, we've been in retail now for 5 years. And at Ulta, we're always in the top 3 best-selling curl creams that they have. We're, killing it in all of our different numbers. So it's just such a blessing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That like gave me chills, the way you feel so passionate. I'm going to ask you 2 questions now. Okay. One is an easy one and one is a very hard one. So was there ever a moment that was so down bad that you were like, I don't know if I can keep doing this? And then I want you to tell me your biggest financial or business win.
Ooh. Okay.
So I want to see the low and then the high.
I think the lows, there's always lows, honestly. There's always moments.
You just gave me this most passionate speech about it's been an amazing 8 years. And then you're like, actually.
It's been an amazing 8 years, but don't get it twisted. I think being an entrepreneur is one of the most humbling experiences you will ever have. Like, get very comfortable with feeling like you know nothing and feeling defeated, because that is what entrepreneurship is feeling that and being comfortable with that, but being able to pick yourself up and dust it off and be very confident in that I can stand up from this. Like, I can learn from this. Yeah. I know how to get out of this. So there's always, every single day, there's fires that we have to put out. I think one of them that was really annoying that my brother probably doesn't want me to tell people is that we actually had a truck that was getting delivered. Big, mind you, when you get a PO from a big retailer, it takes you a long time, maybe 3 months to actually turn around and make that product. And it's very costly. Yeah. So they haven't paid you yet. You're fronting that money. Exactly. It could cost us, I don't know, at least $100,000 to produce that. So we actually had a truck full of product that was being sent to, I believe, Target. And they were expecting the product. They had placed their order like 3 months ago, whatever, and it was stolen. It was stolen.
Your hair products were hijacked?
Girl, hijacked, like straight up Sopranos. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, the truck full of all these pallets. I'm not even kidding.
Exactly. I'm just so confused because
it was like an underground scheme. Like, it was like out of the movies. The whole thing just like disappeared. Like, the truck guy turned off his thing, and then it was just like, it was stolen.
Did you ever find out like what happened?
Kinda, like, we obviously, had the police and the insurance and everybody like was involved. And granted, like, I didn't know this until later, but like, I guess insurances will do everything they can to not pay your insurance in situations like this.
No, that's very, very common, by the way.
So like, I'm a very like, so Tony's always almost like seeing the worst in people and then hoping for the best. Yeah. But I'm always like expecting the best in people and then like just hoping for the best.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just never, my brain, my little like super positive, always like, always sunshine and butterflies brain just did not think that is how that industry works.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a pain, and it was, Target's probably like, I mean, any retailer, they're like, okay, well, we still need product for the shelves. Like,
they're like, we don't care if you got robbed.
When are you
gonna send this to us?
Business is business. Like, when are we getting this product? So yeah, it was straight out of like a movie. We're just like, I don't know. Like, and then me being again with my Pisces-ness. My Pisces is a gift and a curse. Yes, I am literally like a phoenix. Like, you know that
like
you're
reborn
so
from
nice.
the ashes.
You're like, well, not even that. Like, you know, I'm like, come off very nerdy and sweet and like, but then when I get mad, I'm like, like I was doing too much. Like my brother had to sit me down and be like, yo, Sherlock Holmes, like sit down. Like you're not going after these people. Like I'm not even kidding. Like
not Sherlock Holmes. I can't get over that. I'm so sorry.
He was like, sit down. You have too much to lose. Like I was like, did it. Honestly, like the CIA should be all women because the way we were able to find the guy's baby mama, his mom's house, his like, I had his Facebook, I had all his information. I was ready to pull up on him I was like, I don't care if I go by myself.
You were
like,
gonna
I'm
pull
not
up
afraid.
and be like, where are my products?
Yeah, like Sopranos style. I was gonna go with my little taser and be like, you give them to me right now. You give me my curl cream right now, or this taser's going up. No, I'm just kidding. Like I don't know. I see red. Like I'm
the same way.
Normal.
I'm 100% that way.
Like I
also love revenge.
Oh my God, but I'm too good at it. I literally thought of all these scenarios. I was like, I already know I'm gonna get him back, and my Tony literally had to be like, breathe.
Like, ma'am, this is not how we do this.
Sit down. Like, you will go to jail.
Yeah.
Like, can you stop being so insane? Just chill. Let me handle it, which I did. And I'm glad that I listened to him and didn't go full on, like, I don't know, Law and Order on these people.
But I'm sure that made you mad.
Yeah. Like, I'm insane. Like, I'm so happy and blessed that God doesn't put me into any of these situations that trigger this other side of me, this insane side of me, because it's there. And she sees red and she like just full blown doesn't look at consequences. Like there was this news story about, I guess it was a long time ago, but it was like some woman that I guess her husband or somebody cheated on her, and she like jumped over a table in public with a fork and like tried to stab him. And I was like, and there was something in there that she was a Pisces, and I was like,
yeah, that tracks.
It definitely tracks. So yeah, I mean,
that was a good low, but now tell me your highest high.
Okay, I guess highest high would be at both Target and Ulta, which are two huge
major retailers.
Retailers. The very first week that we launched, we sold out like nationwide at both retailers.
No product left.
Like literally no
girl,
product
that's why they were pressing you for the truck.
Yeah, they were like, girl, get this going. And at both retailers, you know, consistently, we're always performing considerably over forecast. We're constantly having to say like, okay, well, that forecast, we think it's too low. Like, bring it up. Like, we can do more. We can do more. And we're like double-digit growth year over year.
Yeah.
Just, you know, not only hitting our numbers, but like considerably surpassing them all the time. And so that's something that just makes me really proud. And I don't know, it reassures that what we're doing is working, I guess.
Talk to me about the money you're making. I think there's a lot of people that think that when you are an entrepreneur and then you have like such a commercial success.
Yeah. It's like money in the bank.
It's like money in the bank. They put that, you know, it's $20 for a product. It goes straight in your pocket.
Yeah.
Not quite how that works. But talk to me like, of the revenue that you guys are making, what percentage is actually being reinvested into the business, and what do you actually kind of like get to become?
Like all of it. So pretty much we are 100% self-funded still.
Yeah.
Which in
okay, girly.
Business, which a business of our scale and of our size, of our retail distribution, it is very, very rare because it's really, really hard when you have such large orders at a time that you have to, you know, have that enough money in the bank to make the product, send it and wait, you know, sometimes even like 6 months to get paid for that and keep it going for multiple different retailers at multiple POs going on at the same time. So with that said, the reason why we're able to be a self-funded business is one, because we've been profitable since day one. We've prioritized profits since the beginning. It wasn't like, I know there's a lot of different businesses out there. Like, I think it was like Uber and, you know, so many others.
They're still not profitable.
Yeah, that are still not profitable, or they have like a 10-year, you know, forecast of when they're going to be, when they will be.
And they just keep raising more money.
Exactly. They just keep raising more money, and they kind of get into this like cycle of it costing, the cost of acquiring a customer is a lot higher than, you know, what they're actually making, et cetera, et cetera. So we did not have that luxury because we were bootstrapping, because we were 100% self-funded, and because we needed to make money in order to continue growing the business and continue running the business. So we've been literally just refueling all of our money back into the business. We are an LLC, so we're still an LLC, which the way that it works is like all the money that the business makes at the end of the year, it's essentially viewed as like earnings for the owners. And we just refuel that back into the business and continue just growing it and growing it. So Rizos Curls owes me a lot of money, which, it's cool. And I also have, my influencer stuff on the side, and I do like speaking and, speaking.
I was just going to ask, how do you split your time between like influencer, speaking, like being Julissa versus being co-founder of Rizos Curls? So I pretty much give my most of me to just Rizos Curls, just being like, running a company. But I will say, like, I think that I had a very transparent conversation with Tony, my brother, last year / earlier this year, where I was just like, I can't keep doing this. We need to either raise money. We need to we need to figure it out. We need to either hire a bigger team. Like, this is like draining for both him and me. Like, I cannot be this involved in the everyday, every single little inner workings. Like, we need to have an executive team, and we it's time, because it's been 8 years, and it takes a toll on you, being just. Girl, I know.
Yeah, I'm sure you know. Like, your schedule is insane. So like, it's almost like you put it like you.
But you've been doing it twice as long as me.
Yeah, you understand it's not sustainable. You understand it's like, oh, this is a lot on me. But you're like, all right, let's see how long I could go this hard for. Like,
you take the burnout and you just smother.
Yeah, you just like smother
it down.
And people are like, work-life balance. I'm like, more like. Trying to do more of things I enjoy and less of things that I don't want to do, so that my whole life is work, but it's like work I like to do.
Yes,
exactly, work that I enjoy.
Correct.
So so that's kind of like where we are at, and eventually my goal for the business is to be able to be a little bit more hands-off, maybe focus more on just like product development and maybe, certain more strategy or whatever other areas, and not have to be like so involved with every single little detail with both Tony and I.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that's very, very smart.
Yeah. And honestly, it's time. It's 8 years.
It's time, girl.
8 years.
You paid them dues.
Okay, that baby can run, all right? Yeah. Hopefully. We're going to need this baby to start pooping by itself.
So I do want to talk a little bit about like the heart of Rizos Curls. You've been very vocal about how this was made for the immigrant community. Mm-hmm. Like, talk to me about the money you've helped raise. Talk to me about why it's so important to you, especially right now since there's some pretty scary headlines that we're seeing.
Yeah. So recently, we did a United for Immigrants initiative where we invited other brands to come together and join us for a day of unity in support for the immigrant community. And we were able to raise $250,000 that went to immigrant orgs. And it's something that I feel like we've been doing and we've been supporting and we've been very vocal about since the very beginning of the business. Yeah. Even before that, I remember going to the 2006 big protest. I don't know if you remember. It was like to reinstate like DACA and all of the different programs to allow undocumented students and workers and people to, have rights that they previously didn't have, like having a driver's license or even attending school. So I just remember being a little kid and I was a teenager back then, and it being very important to me back then, and it continues to be important to me today. And I think that it's interesting because I feel like people sometimes think like, oh, this is kind of a new thing that I decided, and it was like a big decision for us. And I'm like, we've been doing these, we've been doing these type of events since the business first started. And what was it, in 2018, I believe, we did a similar fundraiser party event where we raised around like $60,000 back then. But this is something that I feel like it's just part of who I am, an extension, part of the business. And I'm not afraid that it will lead to people not wanting to buy the brand or not wanting to
I was just going to ask,
support the product.
Do you feel like it's a scary time to be like an outspoken Latina founder?
I mean, I think it is if you've never been it before, you're not used to it. But I feel like by this time, like people know what time it is with me.
Yeah.
It's like if you, like you've heard me be like pro gay rights, pro like women, pro women's rights, pro Black people, pro like immigrants, pro trans rights, pro, you know, I'm just like, I'm from LA. Like, come on. I'm like an LA born and raised girl who I think grew up in these like Black and brown neighborhoods where activism is so intertwined with like community work and just community in general. Like we grew up seeing people and going to school with people that were part of like the workers' marches and you know, supporting like field worker rights and you know, so many other types of legislation that helped people be more included and be treated with more respect and so, and also another fun fact, I'm like, activism is so intertwined with the Los Angeles experience that I'm not even kidding. The Black Lives Matter founders, they all taught me social activism at my high school.
Really?
Yeah, literally like Patrice and a bunch of the people that I later realized were part of like the Black Lives Matter founding group. We had a social activism club in my high school. And like they taught and they helped us with like, they taught us so much about like just social activism in general and life and about, you know, racial equality and civil rights movement and, you know, just everything that like you should learn in school. But it's so funny because I didn't realize until later. And I'm like, yo, they've really been doing the work because they came to my high school and they came and they did events and taught us
decades
all about
so
long ago. Exactly. So, so when people say like, you know, LA is just Hollywood and LA is so fake and this, I'm like, I don't know, because the real LA is out here standing up for other people and really looking out for each other.
And fun fact, did you know that the Latino demographic is actually the fastest growing subset of entrepreneurs in America right now?
I believe it.
So my question for you is, what is your advice for other Latino founders? And like, what can they do? They want to be like you, girl.
I would say don't be afraid to be so authentically yourself because you're not going to alienate anybody. I feel like my brand and I am such a perfect example that you can lean into what makes you different and what makes you unique and be so unapologetic about what you love, like what you stand for, what your values are. And it's not going to alienate anybody. If anything, it'll make your niche be so supportive and feel so seen that it then starts attracting other people that are outside of the niche that want to try it as well and want to support as well. But I think sometimes people are afraid to get too niche. And what I tell them, I'm like, all right, the bigger the niche or the bigger you demographic that you want to market to, the more money you're going to need. So if you don't have a lot of money, get specific and make sure you target, like, you know exactly who you are targeting and you speak to them so transparently, so authentically so that they become your biggest supporters.
That's great advice. And I have one final question for you. Julissa Prado, do you feel rich?
Yeah, I do. But what's something that's really interesting, I'm Julissa Prado, feel rich. But I think that one of the reasons why I feel rich is because my mom, especially ever since we were little kids, she would always tell us, like, you are enough. Like, if you had nothing, you are so loved. You are so intelligent. You are so kind. You are loved. Like, you exude love. Like, you are enough, like whether you don't have anything or you do have things that are like material things that people, view as success in this society. She always put that in me. And I think till this day, she always tells me that. She always tells me, like, no matter where you go, don't forget to bring yourself, or, just have fun and enjoy it, because if it doesn't work out, like, you're still you. Like, you're still so special.
Oh, man, I should have interviewed your mom instead, huh?
She probably has a lot to say.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks to Walmart for their support. One more time to close us out. Right now, Walmart's got thousands of rollbacks and more with super low prices that make saving feel like it's part of the plan. From calendars to everything organization, Walmart's got exactly what you need to reset, refocus, and stay on track with those financial goals you set way back in January. It's okay. We can just say that the new year starts now. Shop now on the Walmart app, online, and in stores to save big time. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Networth and Chill, part of the Vox Media Podcast Network. If you liked the episode, make sure to leave a rating and review and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Got a burning financial question that you want covered in a future episode? Write to us via podcast@yourrichbff.com. Follow Networth and Chill Pod on Instagram to stay up to date on all podcast-related news. And you can follow me at yourrichbff for even more financial know-how. See you next week. Bye!